You've heard me talk about Mike Lindell, who I adore. You know, he's the inventor of My Pillow, and how that pillow has given me a good night's sleep that I need. In fact, I never knew how good I could sleep before I had my pillow. Mike continues to roll out new offers on his products, and the latest one is on his towel sets. Towels aren't something you think about often. I never knew what I was missing until I tried the towels just last year. Now, you have all helped build My Pillow into the incredible company that it is today, and you've trusted Mike Lindell to give you a great night's sleep. Mike's now changing the game with his 6-piece towel set. The set's made with USA cotton, making it extremely absorbent, and yet still providing that soft feel you look for in a towel. The set comes with 2 bath, 2 hand towels, and 2 washcloths, typically retailing for $109.99. But for a limited time, you can get this set for the low price of $39.99. And that's using promo code Sam Sorbo. So remember, all My Pillow products come with a 60-day money-back guarantee. You just go to mypillow.com, click on the radio listener specials to get this insanely low price of $39.99 on the towel set. You'll find deep discounts on other My Pillow products as well. So enter promo code Sam Sorbo, or you can call 800-625-5983. That's 800-625-5983 for these great radio specials. Sam Sorbo, we've discovered, my husband and I, a great American company that supports our traditional values and also the work we're doing to rescue our culture from the lies of the left. So I want you to go check it out. It's called nutramedics.com, nutramedics.com. And you can find there great health and wellness products that are derived from the rainforests. I've found that they work incredibly for me. I take their melatonin. I get a much better night's sleep with that. I also take their Relax Medics and their Mood Medics, which are, I don't know what they are, but they're this natural blend of herbs, basically, and really easy to take. They actually droppers, and I just love their products, and I love what they stand for because they have a heart for this nation and they have a heart for people. And I don't know how you would have one without the other, and that's why maybe they have both. But I just love what they do. So go to nutramedics.com, and you can actually go to sorbo.nutramedics, and that's with an X, sorbo.nutramedics.com. If you use Sorbo at checkout, you'll get a discount on anything that you purchase there. So go check it out, get a better night's sleep, get a better day, feel better about yourself. They've got a lot of great products there, including vitamins. I use them all. So trust me, it's great. nutramedics.com. And thank you so much for listening. Hi, and welcome to the Sam Sorbo Show. We're going to talk about the GOP lawmakers that are pushing for information from the State Department. They want some answers about this taxpayer-funded atheism grant program. This was a fascinating story. The House Republicans, they are trying to figure out why President Joe Biden's State Department is funding atheism abroad. And this is a Breitbart article that just came across my desk. There are 17 Republican lawmakers. They're led by the Republican Study Committee chairman, the RSC, Representative Jim Banks. He's a registered Republican from Indiana. He sent a second letter to the Secretary of State, Anthony Blinken, on Tuesday about this program that awards grants of up to, wait for it, $500,000 of taxpayer funds, quote, to organizations committed to the practice and spread of atheism and humanism. I can't even get that word out properly. Humanism, which of course it's anti-humanism is really what it boils down to, namely in South and Central Asia and also in the Middle East and North Africa. Now, why are they proselytizing in the name of religion? Because if it's anti-religion, it itself is a religion. It takes one to know one, if you know what I mean. Banks sent the first letter on June 30th. That's gone unanswered. It's been well over a month. Well, 2 months actually. And so he's asking for more answers. In a statement, he said he thinks, quote, the Biden State Department is hiding the extent of its woke radicalism. Do you think so? Maybe. Why are they joining? He tweeted this. Why is the Biden administration joining the CCP's efforts to promote atheism abroad? Well, it's because that's their religion and they're not above proselytizing. There's in the second letter, they relisted the 12 questions that they had originally asked the State Department to answer about the program. They also noted that many of their constituents have reached out with concerns about the agency's promotion. In fact, I would encourage you to reach out to your representatives to find out about this program. Why are our tax dollars going to proselytize against our personal views, against our beliefs, and against our interests? I think maybe more importantly against our interests, but certainly against the interests of the people that they're proselytizing. They also noted many of their constituents were concerned not only of the atheism but of humanism. I'm not sure why they're separating those two things. Quote, an official belief system, as well as the State Department's promotion of other radical, divisive, and destructive cultural policies. So apparently they're saying humanism is just a destructive cultural policy. I'm not sure I buy that. Americans deserve to know why the State Department is committed to spreading atheism abroad and which foreign anti-religious groups are receiving their tax dollars. I mean, this is a terrible thing, and we should put an end to it right now. House Republicans further requested a phone briefing from Acting Assistant Secretary for Democracy, Human Rights, and Labor, Lisa Peterson, to the RSC to discuss the grant program. But most notably, lawmakers told the State Department to preserve all documents, records, and don't destroy any documents because we will want to see those. And you know that they won't do that. They'll be very careful with everything. Honestly, it's so recently I got to go to the Hill and I spoke with some lawmakers, and I'll just tell you, like, I get the distinct impression that they have no power really, except which is probably a good thing, but it's sort of like they know it. And so they're just not going to do anything. Like, I don't know. It probably took forever to get these 12 people in a room, or at least on the same email thread, to try to, suss out, okay, what should we do now? Banks again tweeted, the Biden State Department is promoting CRT, abortion, and now atheism abroad. This is not what America stands for. He's promoting it. Fox News is carrying it, thankfully. It's a good thing, but here's the thing that I want to point out. This is an idea that I've been working on. I haven't found, I'm looking to find traction on it. I've only just begun. We just had the recent case of Coach Kennedy, who won in the Supreme Court, on the case that they tried to prevent him from praying on the field, and they fired him, and he won his case. He should be allowed to pray on the field. Well, here's the point. The people who tried to limit his right to pray on the field were exerting their personal religion onto him. By preventing him exercising his religion, they in fact were promoting their religion and imposing their religion on him. And their religion is this secular anti-humanism, or atheism / agnosticism, or what they are calling, what Wikipedia determines now to call anti-religion, which is its own religion. So just because you call something an anti-religion doesn't mean it's not a religion. It is a religion. That's my position. I think that there's ample evidence to show that, because it takes one to beat one. And so they were promoting their religion in order to quash his religion, Coach Kennedy's religion. And I think we can make that case. Then if we add to that the idea that that the Supreme Court ruled for Maine that they were not allowed to sequester funds away from religious schools and only hold them out for the so-called secular schools, that in effect, they are saying that those two things are compatible. Secularism is its own religion, just like Christianity is its own religion. And so now you can argue that the Supreme Court had no right to do that because the First Amendment is applicable on the national level, but is it applicable on individual state level? And in fact, the recent ruling of Roe v. Wade points to the Supreme Court bowing out of decisions that ought to be state decisions. So why they decided to make this ruling, I think it was in a weird way to make amends for the Roe v. Wade, or I'm not really sure why. It is at best inconsistent, and yet I applauded it because I want them to recognize that in fact secular humanism, secular anti-humanism, atheism slash agnosticism slash anti-religion is in fact its own religion. The point being that once we have codified these two things, perhaps somebody can pick up the gauntlet and take a case to the Supreme Court wherein they argue that in fact there is no such thing as a non-religious school, that in fact every school has a religion, whether it be secular anti-humanism or atheism or Islam or Christianity or Catholicism or Judaism or any ism or communism, for instance, that every school has a worldview that it supports. And by saying that it doesn't support any particular worldview, that's not enough. And I think we might be in a position to win on those grounds. So if you want to email me, go to samsorbo.com. If you have ideas along these lines, just go to samsorbo.com. You can reach out there. If you want to refer me to people, I'm willing to talk to anybody about this. I think there's a wide opening. I think with everything that's been demonstrated, with what's been happening, and by the way, this has been happening for decades, the woke overreach that we have witnessed because of COVID has been going on for decades. It's just been ramping up and worsening, and we right under our noses, and we haven't been paying attention. But now I think we've started to pay attention. I think people are waking up. That's why I urge everybody, just pull your kids out of school. Because here's the question. And it's funny because so I talk to a lot of people. And what I'm noticing is that a number of the people that I've been speaking to for a while now, and they were sort of in the camp of, oh, you know, we know that you're the homeschool advocate, but not everybody can, Sam. It's, you know, it's silly to think that every parent or whatever, like they had that little pushback. Some parents just, what if both parents were, like, they had all of the excuses, right? And so for that reason, that was their excuse to not get on my bandwagon, right? These people are starting to turn, and it's really fascinating to me. So I was actually having lunch with a friend the other day, and she's older. She went through public schools. She turned out fine. She understands that the public schools are now like kind of off the rails, but what are you going to do? You can't do it for everybody. Not everybody can do whatever, right? So she gave me all this pushback. And at lunch the other day, I said to her, okay, so you have an orphanage, and it's a large orphanage with a bunch of kids. And you find out that 5 of the 10 caretakers are abusing the children in one way or another. Like 5 of the 10 caretakers are abusing the children. What do you do? And what's interesting is her answer was, you shut down the orphanage, which I thought was interesting because I figured she would say, well, you remove those 5. But she went straight to, you shut down the orphanage. And I said, well, what do you do with all the kids? And she said, well, they'd be better off not being in that situation. And I said, now you're starting to see things my way. How much child abuse is okay? This is what we really ought to be asking ourselves. How much is acceptable? Because for me, and I know I'm a purist or whatever, I'm, 0 is acceptable. 0. Not even a little tiny bit. In fact, in my book, They're Your Kids, there's a whole chapter on this idea that it's called actually Poop in the Water. It's a whole chapter on this idea that even if I give you a glass of water and then I say to you, and you're thirsty, like you really want the water, you really need the water. And I say to you, there's just a tiny little bit of poop in the water. You're just not going to drink it. You're going to say, I'll wait a little bit longer. Unfortunately, I think that we feel like we're in the desert and we've been deprived of water for far too long, and we feel like we're just going to die without the water. That is the position that the schools have rendered us in, have put us in. That we are desperate for that magic of, quote unquote education, that ethereal thing that they promise us, that, by the way, we can see on the face of it, they're not delivering, but we can't wrap our heads around what would we do if our kids didn't go there. We feel like we'd just be at a loss, like we would just starve to death or be thirsty to death, whatever, right? It's a horrible position that our own government, our own schools have put us in. This position of desperately needing them. It's like we've been groomed in the schools to believe that the schools are our best friends and we need the schools. They're our abusive husbands. And they beat us, they mistreat us, but, ultimately we're just convinced that they love us, and they would, lay down their lives for us, and they would take a bullet for us. And the fact that they beat us is, well, we misbehaved. We shouldn't have burnt dinner, or I don't know what. We should have folded the laundry better. Right? I think that's the position that we're in now. And that's a very sad statement. And here's the thing. I know it always comes back to this, but if you think that you are better off putting your children in an abusive situation, then you are living proof of why you should not send your children to school. Because you're messed up, man. You're messed up. They did that to you. They did that to you. So back to this Breitbart article about the U.S. government proselytizing atheism abroad with our hard-earned money. And by the way, it's not like they're going to give you a tax break. You're paying for this whether you like it or not. And your prices are going up, and your costs are going up, and your business is suffering because prices are going up and costs are going up for everybody. The State Department characterized atheists as, quote, a unique religious group while encouraging them to build networks and advocacy groups for atheists, according to the letter. This would be analogous to official State Department promotion of religious freedom, particularly for Christians in China, with the express goal being to build a corresponding missionary network. Obviously, this goal that would never pass constitutional muster and would be derided by radical leftist bureaucrats in your agency as completely out of bounds. So why is this atheist NOFO, notice of funding opportunity, not viewed with similar objection? Because they don't object to it. They like it. They believe in it. We are now being governed by a bunch of people who don't believe in God. And they're controlling the levers of power because you know what? They're not elected. They've all been appointed. That's why, you know, to a certain degree, we needed to drain the swamp a little bit more than we did. Americans rightly discern this as part of the broader effort on the part of your administration to promote radical, progressive orthodoxy abroad. Atheism is an integral part of the belief system of Marxism and communism. Well, that's true. So according to the Washington Stand, the Biden administration says the grants are meant to encourage, quote, religious toleration of secularists. Oh, really? Republicans are worried the taxpayer funds could be used to proselytize for atheists. Well, that's what they are being. We're not worried that that's what they're being used for. We know, and we don't like it, and it needs to stop now. So get in touch with your congressperson and take care of some business and make sure you get your kids out of school. Join Underground Education. Go to samsorbo.com for all that information. And if you want to contact me, go to samsorbo.com. Let's work on this together. Let's get some changes made through the courts now. Maybe that's the way to get this done. All right. Thanks so much for joining me. This is the Sam Sorbo Show.